proven. Yeah, so maybe we can talk a little bit about the anti-aging benefits, because that comes back to what stem cells are, what they do,
Mm-hmm.
and why mobilizing them is going to help. I'm in the anti-aging field, and a lot of people do come to me just for anti-aging benefits. A lot of the new the biohackers, we all want to live long and live, beautifully. So what have you seen, and what are your thoughts on the anti-aging benefits of all these the herbal concoction?
To me, it's probably the most important of everything that we're looking into the whole world of stem cells. I think it's the greatest discovery and probably the one that is talked about the least. Because when you need repair, you don't need repair most of your life. You don't need repair. You need repair sometimes in your life. Most of your life, you're just going on and living your life. And what we don't know is that as we were simply living, stem cells are a crucial part of our health and our survival. You cannot live more than a few minutes without oxygen. You cannot live, let's say, more than 2-3 weeks without water. I'm talking about like survival. You cannot live more than maybe 8 weeks without food. You cannot live more than 3 months without stem cells. It is that crucial to our survival because we lose cells every day and we need to replace them. And that's the role of stem cells. And all of this emerged from observation. So go back to what I was talking about before. You do a study, you use fluorescent stem cells. You trigger an injury and you look at the repair process, and the tissue that is repaired now is all fluorescent with green, let's say, tissue cells, muscle, heart, whatever the organ. And what scientists have observed is that at the end of the study, you are left with some animals in the study that you did not need for your study, but they received the whole treatment and the whole process, but you keep them as pets. It's very common in labs. So let's say you do this on a 3-month-old mouse, and you keep that mouse until, I don't know, 12, 14 months. That's an old mouse. And now the question is, let's go back and see, what do we see then in the body? And what is revealed is that every single organs and tissues contain cells that are green, meaning stem cells went to repair, but in the background, they went everywhere in the body. And depending on the tissue, some of them are all green, others partially green. So what is emerging is that the entire body is constantly in a process of turnover. So the question is this also real in humans? So, and there's one set of circumstance where you can go and test that in human, and it's women who have leukemia and they received a bone marrow radiation, so bone marrow ablation, and then a bone marrow transplant from a male compatible donor. So now their bone marrow is made with stem cells that have the Y chromosome. We can track the Y chromosome. So they went back into banks of biopsy of tissue taken after an autopsy on women who passed away a year, 5, 10, 15, 20 years after stem cell injection, stem cell transplant, bone marrow transplant, and then the whole image emerged. Every single organ and tissue, even in human, is constantly in this process of turnover. Only the heart was specifically studied, for which we have actual data. You have half of a new heart about every 25 years. But every organ is in this process. A new liver every 2-3 years, a new lung every 4 to 6 years. Everything is in turnover. So now you look at this data. That means that when you're 50 years old, you don't have a 50-year-old liver, 50-year-old pancreas, 50-year-old lung. You don't have a lot of cells actually that you're born with. Everything is in turnover. Now, keep that in mind, because there's another phenomenon that is absolutely fundamental to our aging, and it's the fact that we're born with red marrow that makes stem cells, and it transforms into yellow marrow very, very rapidly in our lives. It's a very well-known phenomenon. It turns into fatty marrow, and by age 30, you're left with about 10% of your original red marrow. So that means that you're born at around, let's say, 130 something stem cells per microliter of blood. And by age 30, you're about 6. And by age 50, it's probably about 1 to 2. So your ability to be able to replace the cells that are being lost, there's a point in your 30s where you lose that balance. And that's when you start to accumulate a deficit everywhere in your body. And that's when you realize you're no longer Wonder Woman or Superman. You realize you're not repairing like you used to. And the little problems start to accumulate. It will reach diagnostic level in 5, 10, 15, 20 years down the road, but it has started on that day. So if you can put more stem cells in circulation every day, you're just boosting your body's ability to just do this normal process of stem cell replacement, if you want, in your tissues. And to me, that is why being able to put more stem cells in circulation is probably one, I wouldn't say one of the most potent, but it's like a core anti-aging